Yeah, so last season was obviously a really good one for us. I think it was the highest we finished since we rejoined, so that's always a good start. I think Fulham has always had an ambition to get back to where they were, but hasn't quite got there yet. But it's nice to see that we're making the movements to get there. We had some really great additions. Ellie Olds came in and scored a few goals. Helen Ogle, Georgia Heisman, pretty much a whole new front three. So it was really nice to see us really competing. I think we pushed right into the end, and finished in third place. So it couldn't really gone. I think we looked at the start of the season and we dropped a few points where we probably shouldn't have. But other than that, I think it worked really well. We got the best defensive record in the league, and it's something to really build on this year. So it's going to be an exciting one for us.
I mean, our season was kind of different to that. We won the league, which was obviously going into the season, that was our main aim. We got listed all of our targets for the season, being top at Christmas, which we was, and then obviously finishing on top. But we also had our first really good run in the FA Cup. We made it to the first round proper, and that was the first time that most players in that team managed to get to a position like that, especially we had players like Cindy Colliver. I think it was the first place furthest she went as well. But there was a lot of challenges. We had different management, different coaches. So I think the most important thing for us that happened last season was we kind of became a team. Like you always say, like you are a team from the start, but it's more about that point at time where we just came together. And I think if it wasn't for each other, I don't think we would have come anywhere near top of the table or been as successful as we was, to be fair. So yeah, it was a good season upon reflection now. I think going into Sunday, obviously it's different because we're two different teams coming from different situations. Obviously you were third in the league that we're now coming into. And I think as a team coming into a new league, you always want to prove something, especially against a team that's as established as you guys are. Everyone knows Fulham. But I think going into Sunday, I think we just want to have a point to prove. And yeah, so I just think we just want to go out there, play the football. Obviously the pitch is looking beautiful. And that's really exciting to come back and play again, the Green Lane again. But yeah, I think we just want to go and prove we have a point to prove.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think although it's different, you say we're a well-known club, I think that always adds the pressure to us. People always want a result against Fulham. Everyone comes to it, and even if we like to think we're quite a nice team, but everyone has this hatred towards us, no matter what it is, just because of the name. So I think every single game we play, we never have to, everyone always wants, that's the game everyone wants to win, even if we're not playing very well. So it's always a tough one for us. Every game is really hard for that reason. I think it's really great to be here. I think what we can see in the women's game now is we're playing at amazing stadiums, and this is Tier 5 football. And I think it's always helped with the Euros, and it's going to have the excitement. People are going to come and watch. People want to come and get involved, and that's going to add to the pressure even more. I think it's the best time to be in women's football. There's so much excitement around it, and all we need to do now is just put on a good show. And I think that's the pressure of every single team in this league now, is just proving ourselves as footballers, which is a great challenge.
Yeah, I think especially after the Women's Euros, because a lot of social media places were putting out who the local women's clubs are, and I think where Fulham and Sutton are both close in area, I think this is where we might be able to start to see a little bit more, maybe more fans come in, people coming to support. I know at Sutton we've had a couple of diehard Sutton fans that are at most games, but hopefully we just see more of them, I think, just to come and support the women's game.
Yeah, and I think you're spot on, aren't you, really? This a local derby in some sort, isn't it? We're playing in a London South East Regional League, and sometimes you've got to travel an hour and a half to get to those games, but this is, the perfect opener for the season. We get to kick it off with two local teams with a lot of excitement still going in, so hopefully we get a lot of people down supporting whoever, hopefully Fulham, but, if we just see a lot of people in the stadium, I think it's going to be, a really good day. It'll be lovely. I actually went to every England game for the Euros.
Cool.
Yeah. Quite lucky through work. I work for Lucasade, so they're responsible for the England team, so which is quite nice. It was always a handy in. But yeah, my friends and I, a few of the girls from Fulham, we kind of booked it. We were quite lucky actually, because we bought the tickets a year ago and we said, look, let's pretend England are going to top the group, and hope that they get to every game since then. So we did the group stages and then the Spain game and then the Sheffield one in the semi-final in Wembley. The Sheffield one was the one we were on the rocks about the most because obviously semi-final, we could be following the team that's not England to Sheffield for some random reason on a Tuesday. And then, yeah, it was amazing. I think because we had the final booked, we didn't think England weren't going to get there. It never crossed our minds until we got to that quarter-final stage and we were like, oh, God, like, we might not make it. But, you know, it was unbelievable. I'm sure, like, you just, like, look back and now, and we've watched our country win a home nation tournament and watch England bring it home. It's just unbelievable. And I think being in the women's game, you can probably agree, we've never had that coverage. We've never had that excitement across the nation for a team to truly bring it home. So it was, I think, like, I still look at it now and just think, I don't think we know the impact that this is going to have forever. And I think, I cried so many times just thinking about it because it's truly a game-changing moment for every single person involved in women's football. And I think not even people on the pitch, but the club, like people who worked there. A man at work said that he was talking to people at the FA and they were just in tears and they were just like, we've waited so many years for this to happen and it's here.
I think mine, I didn't go to watch any of the games, just busy. And but it was something, there was a game going on, I can't remember which game it was specifically, and it was after training, so a couple of the girls went to the pub, I promise we're good footballers, and watched the game, and it was something so minor, but we were there, and there was a couple of guys next to us, and they were just saying all of the women's names, and I was like, I don't think I've ever walked into, one, I haven't walked into a pub and seen a women's game being shown, but let alone hearing loads of people know who they are. Like, for such a long time, it was only women footballers that kind of knew of the women's football players at England. So I think that was really nice, just to even hear them say like Lucy Bronze and players like that. Oh, prediction for Sunday? I'm going to go 2-1 Sutton.
Confidence, I like it. I think we've got goals in us this year. I think we've got a lot of strength. So and as a goalkeeper, I can't put myself down like that. So I want to go big and say, I reckon we've got about 3 in us. 3. I'm going to say 0. I'm a goalkeeper. Back myself.
You have to say 3 now. No, I'm going 2-1.
How do you see you guys doing this season?
I don't think anyone's coming into this season with like, I don't want to say high hopes because it's not, like you said, you don't want to ever put your team down, but I think our main focus is establishing ourselves. I said it earlier, when it comes to, we have a point to prove being the newly promoted team. Same thing, like obviously with the success of the men's, the women want to follow as well. So I think that we just want to establish ourselves, show that we are a team that you can't just think, oh, that's going to be an easy win. They've only just got promoted. And we've got a lot of really talented players. Individually, the talent is unbelievable. And we've had a few players leave, some new ones coming in, and I think it's going to be a strong squad this season. I think as soon as we settle in, everyone's anticipating the start of the season, everyone's getting a bit nervous. But I think as soon as the first couple of games happen, then I think we'll be all good. What about you?
We've got to set our eyes on promotion, really. I've been in this league too long now. I think we were close last year and we added, I think, to the team, added strength in where we probably needed it. We probably needed a few more goals and we've got attacking the strength. Depth as well now this year. I think, like I said, we lost a few points that we shouldn't have lost at the start of the season. We weren't ready. We didn't kick in straight away. We dropped silly points that affected us later down the line. When we were past Christmas, it's already up. You know, Ashford had pretty much already run away with the league by then. We weren't really fighting for much. So it's all about the start of the season, isn't it? You've got to get the points now. You've got to get them in early. You've got to make sure that you're starting the way you want to finish, because by the time you get past Christmas, it's kind of already settled. I
think that's the most important thing, is I don't think you can wait. There's no opportunity in this league to wait, and there's teams in the league below us that had a pretty slow start and they still had the opportunity to climb up the league post-January. As soon as I feel like now that you're in Tier 5, you don't have that opportunity to wait and start slow and wait for something special to happen. You've got to hit the ground running.
For sure, and this is one of the hardest leagues. Any team you speak to that's been in this league, it's one of the hardest to get out of. Speak to Dulwich, they were so close for 2 years in a row and COVID ruined them. The teams that just got out of the league and they come back in, it's such a hard league to actually make your way out of. You know, one team get promoted and it's a fight to the end, but it's always the start that counts, really. Tough one. Good luck. Good luck for
You
it.
too.